Hi, I'm Matt Wellumson.
I'm Michael Vann.
We're coming to you from the North American International Auto Show 2009 for Neuwerks.com and Bimmerforms.com. And currently we are sitting in a car that was unveiled on the Sunday press conference of BMW. And Mike, do you want to go ahead and do the introduction?
Well, we are sitting in the world premiere of the new Z4. We are in the S-Drive 35i edition, or variant of it, I guess you could call it. I don't know why BMW has chosen to go with such long naming.
Yeah.
They've gone to the X-Drive, and now apparently they feel the need to go to S-Drive. And I don't know if this is strictly a naming convention for cars like the X5 and Z4, where they can't, like the 135 can designate the engine and series all in one.
Series 2, yep.
And by the abbreviation at the end how many wheel drive it is. If it's an XI, it's all wheel. You can't do that with the X5. You
Correct.
can't, so I think they started to do S-Drive in this case for sport
active,
and
or sportive
X for the all-wheel drive, in the X5. So, it's an odd naming convention, but I guess you can identify the car with it.
And unlike the previous models of this car, this is a retractable hardtop, and actually it's a very nice enclosed shell inside the vehicle. It doesn't, granted, if the 3 Series convertible is the same way, you get a feeling that you are in, if anything, a detachable hardtop for an older Z4.
Yes.
With the exception of maybe the seam up here, which you can't see on this video, but I will be cutting in a video I took earlier and showed that. The nice thing, the thing I guess I do like about it is the outward appearance. Some of the seams on the outer vehicle, or the outer seams of the tops on the retractable hardtops, are very obtrusive.
Very apparent.
And this one, they're still there, but they're not as apparent as some of the cars.
The nice part is it's a 2-piece top.
Correct.
So you've got the big center section, and you've basically got the pillars, and the glass separates from them. So really that only leaves you a couple places to have seams, which is, at the windshield where you meet anyways. And if you hear any music, we're close to Mini, so enjoy.
And two, as you probably are aware, if you are coming to us from Bimmerforms, it has the 3-liter twin turbo engine in it. It'd be nice to see a diesel variant of this personally. I think I'd be highly interested in a diesel variant of this particular car. Maybe not this particular car. I would actually like a dedicated hardtop because I want to track it. Some of the tracks near us will not allow you to even drive a retractable hardtop at high-speed driving events. So that's different across the country. It depends on the insurance and the state laws, but around us, it's more difficult to attend a track event with a car such as that. So.
Yeah, and I don't know, getting back to the engines, there's 2 choices. You either have the 3-liter normally aspirated or the 3-liter twin turbo, designated by the same 3.0 or 3.5.
Did you see that button on the side of the steering wheel? That's awesome.
Oh, it's a heated steering wheel.
Yeah, we were talking about that in a different car.
So very, that proves that with the hardtop, it's more all-season friendly. You can heat your steering wheel in your convertible.
Well, with that, we're going to move on to a couple more BMW models. We have the new 7 Series that was unveiled to our right. We will attempt to get to that next. If not, we will jump into, I don't know.
Who knows? Well, we have a few diesels to choose from. We have one M3 and one 128i convertible.
Sounds great. We'll see you there.
And well, now we've moved on to something a little roomier.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd emphasize that by climbing in the back of this one.
And we are in the X5. We actually were in this last year, the diesel variant of this vehicle, but this is the production-ready version that is, well, production-ready.
Yeah, and I guess this would be our next premiere. We have to thank BMW a lot, again, for their assistance. Because we're in the back, we're a little worried people are going to try and get in, and they're nice enough. They're essentially playing enforcers for us to keep people out of the front.
Yep,
so.
we have security, and that's always a nice thing at BMW because everyone wants to look at them, so it's kind of nice to have your own private vehicle to kind of do a quick little podcast.
And they have always been very accommodating for us, and we can't thank them enough for that. So.
And this was the car that they started off with, or one of the 2 cars that they started off with for the podcast, for the press conference. And BMW is very excited about their diesels and, of course, their hybrids that are over a couple cars over, which we won't be able to sit in, unfortunately, today. But they're after the economy and the fuel efficiency and the environmental, approach to these cars.
Yes, I mean that was by far their biggest thing that they went and did on the in the press conference was they started out by talking about the diesels, I believe.
Yep.
Then they went into like their sales figures, and that's when they unveiled the 7 Series hybrid, and we're going on and about the mileage it claimed, the mileage this thing claims, and it you could see there was a lot of vying for the top segment of most efficient in the premium market.
Correct. Yep.
There was definitely friendly, maybe not so friendly rivalry going on with our friends across the way.
And we'll have to we'll talk about that a little bit more when we move on to the next vehicle, because it's kind of nice to take a look from the outside in. It'll help us kind of refresh our memories. But the X5, I guess one thing I got to comment on is, again, it is next to impossible to distinguish this from a regular X5. Mm-hmm. Even sitting behind the wheel, you look at the tachometer, which we'll show you some video and pictures of. It revs to $5,000. Obviously, if you're sitting in a normal, even 3.0 or 4. Well, I don't know what they have for motors now. I apologize. I am not as well versed on the X5 as I am with the 1 and 3 series in the Z. But the tachometer, it doesn't rev as high, and you have just a little indication of diesel fuel only. But the speedometer, it still tops out at a ridiculously high speed.
Right.
That I don't think I would ever want to go to an SUV. But actually, these are pretty well
balanced.
balanced.
And talking to Kevin Billings, they drive incredibly well. So I mean, it seems like the best blend. You get fuel efficiency, you get, hauling comfort, and really, if you're going to get an SUV, a diesel's definitely the way to go.
Definitely would have to agree.
By far, the only towing capacity limitation you have becomes the chassis.
Exactly. Well, let's take a look at probably a little bit more fuel-efficient version of their diesel. Not version of the diesel, but a little bit more fuel-efficient diesel from BMW, and that is the 3 Series. I got to check this out.
Sounds like fun. All right, here we've migrated over to the 335D. Now, Matt wanted me to chauffeur him around, and you know what he gets for that? He locked himself in the back because somebody activated the child safety, so he's stuck in the back, and I'm liking this.
Well, you should know this because your kids need to be safe, and having the child safety locks on and be able to lock your car in unsafe situations is actually a good thing.
Yes.
Not that necessarily anyone's going to, your kids are going to want to just flee in the middle of, the south side of Chicago. Not to mean any disrespect, but I don't want if I had kids to get out at that point. But, I've got to kind of reiterate what I've discussed. We did sit in this car earlier for a different podcast, not a Bimmerform specific one. I do really like this car. The fact of it having a twin turbo diesel, and the performance that Kevin Billings from Bimmerforms has indicated that it has is absolutely exceptional. And I have to say, this really should inspire people to look at diesels, the performance and everything.
And hopefully this helps people with the stigma of diesels are loud and stinky and they vibrate your teeth out. Hopefully hopefully cars like this, they'll give them a chance at least, because I know if they give them a chance, they're going to go, oh my God, I can't believe it, And so, I know Kevin agrees with us, or at least I think Kevin agrees from our past discussions with him that, he test drove this car and it sounded like he really liked it, and that he, for the most part, couldn't tell the difference between the 3-liter twin turbo that runs on gas and the 3-liter twin turbo that runs on diesel, except for, noise, and maybe it sounded like top end.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, a high-revving diesel just like the X5. You have the same characteristics in the gauge cluster. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that it shows 50 miles per gallon at the top as opposed to a different number that I'm used to seeing in the 3 Series. But
wow, yeah, that's the instant mile gauge. Most people familiar with BMWs know this, but it goes up to 50. Well, 50 is the last numerical, and it goes even higher. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it looks like it would have an indentation for like 1670 if it were actually to have numbers on it. But maybe they would be considered boasting if they put that there. But hey, you got to go down a hill sometime and get really good fuel mileage. I'm just playing with the sunshades, as you would expect from a 3 Series. I mean, let me start this. In the past, some of the more fuel efficient cars were basically kind of like strippers. Think of like the Golf TDI. Very, very good car, but it has manual crank windows.
It took no options whatsoever.
It took a while for them to actually say, oh, people want options in a diesel. They want power windows. They want, heated seats. BMW is doing it right. This feels like a sports sedan. It's got brushed aluminum dash. It has the 3-spoke steering wheel with paddle shifters. Where else? I don't think they went wrong with anything except Mike doesn't like the color. I love the color.
Right.
am psychotic maybe, but
No, there are people out there that agree with you. I mean, they keep offering it year after year, so. And I can't latch. There we go.
the center armrest, he broke it. We should probably go to the 7 Series before BMW kicks us out. And again, thanks again to BMW of North America for allowing us to securely have a car to discuss.